What would you name a village nestled between the Lake Michigan shore and neighborhoods thick with tall timber? Well, 100 years ago, 1,600 residents of a community immediately north and east of Milwaukee agreed on Shorewood. And now, a century later, today's Shorewoodians are honoring and observing the name change milestone. Here's Michael Schlesinger.
1917. This was just past the advent of the automobile. World War I was still happening, and the flu pandemic was a year away. And a sleepy little place around Milwaukee came into its own. Shorewood Historical Society past president Karen DeHartog shares the story in her words.
This was under the auspices of the town of Milwaukee until 1900, at which time there were about 300 people here that were upset with their muddy roads and were trying to figure out how they could get some tax money. So they incorporated as the city of East Milwaukee, or the village of East Milwaukee. And they operated under that name until 1917 when we changed to Shorewood.
100 years later, now, a self-guided tour to see the past up close and personal. It's a walking, biking, riding tour, and it starts here at the Village Hall off Murray and Capitol. We should mention that. You can also go online and get...
yes, to get a copy of it online at villageofshorewood.org.
Tell me about the tour.
The tour was devised to have 12 stops around the village to help people visualize what life was like here in 1917. So it starts here at the Village Hall, which had just been built in 1908, and at that time was a 4-room school. And proceeds around the village, going to one of the first grocery stores, going over to the railroad tracks, to the area that was an amusement park, and also to help people understand that there were a lot of farms here at that time.
What road is this?
This is Oakland. Oakland coming up from Edgewood, probably up to about Newton, and these were 2 big bars that were along there. On the other side of the street, there was an amusement park up until 1960.
You had a monumental flooding back in 2010. This picture is where?
That's on the corner of Edgewood and Oakland.
And then you had upgraded sewer systems from that. From,
yes, ever since.
Updates.
We've been working on our sewers ever since.
What's the best thing about Shorewood, would you say?
The best thing about Shorewood, it's a very, it's a community where everybody takes part. It's big celebrations, we all go, we're very involved in our government, we're not afraid to speak our mind, we're good volunteers. It's just a very invigorating. Something
practically synonymous with Shorewood, the famous ghost train located along Capitol Drive at the Oakleaf Trail Bridge. It sounds frightening, but it's more fascinating. Current president of the Shorewood Historical Society, Bob Dean, gives us better insight.
That way is the ghost train we should mention. You can't miss it. Tell us a little bit about the history of this, Bob.
Well, trains started coming in Shorewood in 1873.
Yeah.
And when I was a kid, there were up to 40 trains a day crossing the trestle here at Capitol Drive. So it was a lot of activity, and I took trains actually to northern Wisconsin to visit relatives. My sisters took them to go to camp.
Yeah.
And it was very active, and of course, this was the site of the famous Chicago Northwestern 400 that went from Chicago to Minneapolis through Milwaukee. And what's great about this project is we are combining, what's compelling is we're combining public art with a great history story.
Yeah.
And
we should mention it's an illusion. There's not an actual train now.
It's not an actual train, but the designer used LED lights to recreate that train, and our sound system is terrific. I live a mile from here, and I can hear the sounds of the train from this location.
This is every night.
This is every night. Every night we have this train running during the summertime. It's running at 9:30 and 10 o'clock at night. Now, we also have a beautiful light display. There are 25 different 4-minute light patterns that are running that are constantly changing and are beautiful. And that's what we wanted. We wanted to have a beautiful bridge, but we've got the bonus of telling the history that, of the trains coming through Shorewood.
And quickly talk about the award.
The award. Well, we received one award from the Union Pacific Railroad. Has already they're excited about this, and they put us on their train town registry. And then there is a community design award, an international award.
Wow.
An international award, and the Ghost Train is a finalist in this international award. This is a hidden gem in Milwaukee. Shorewoodians know about it, but the rest of the community doesn't, and they need to come out here and see this.